Hello, I'm Grayson from the Design Collective, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Risograph Printer. We're going to be doing a two-color design, so we're going to go through the whole process of how to set the machine up and how to get printed. The Risograph Printer is going to print one color at a time, and it's going to make a master for each layer. So we're going to make a solid layer on the bottom for the yellow, and we're just printing that off a regular printer, it doesn't really matter. And then we're going to have this layer on the top for the black. And we're going to scan these on the risograph, and that's going to make the master. It's essentially a stencil for the ink to go through. All right, we're going to start by loading our paper into the printer. We're using standard 8.5 by 11. The printer can take larger sizes. You just readjust these on either side, but we're just using this for now. And then this button can be pressed to raise this back up after the printer starts going, but it automatically lowers after you start it. Next up, we're going to show you how to empty the rice paper containers, and these build up with the old stencils over time. You don't really need to empty them too much, but they do get full after a while. So you just take it out by pressing down the blue bar, and then when you have it over the trash can, you pull back on this black. And that lets it all out. You can just slide that back in, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Push down on this blue bar, that slides right out. And you want to be careful when you're doing this because a lot of leftover ink can get stuck to the rice paper, and if you get that on your clothes or on yourself, it's pretty hard to get off. The power button's right here, so we're just going to flip it on, and then I'll show you how to switch the ink out. So to replace the ink, you're just going to open up this front panel here, and you can see we have two drums in here. This is drum 1 and this is drum 2. It's important to know which color you have in which because that's going to determine the order that it's printed in when you're doing multiple layers of printing. On both of these, it's pretty simple. If it's locked in place, you just need to press this blue button to release it, and then you can just slide it out. And then you want to make sure you're keeping your hands on these blue handles here, or else you run the risk of getting ink on yourself. And like I said earlier, you don't want to do that. So we're just going to put that on the ground, and we're swapping that for the black. So we open up the case here, grab it by the blue handles, and slide it right back down into place. As you can see here, it has arrows to line it up. Most of the machine is really well labeled for how you need to do something, so if you're not sure or can't remember how to do it, there will most likely be steps given clearly on the machine itself. And then we have yellow loaded in our first drum and black loaded in our second drum, and for our image you can see that we're going to do our yellow layer first, followed by the black layer. So now we're going to set up the printer with our masters. To start, we're going to click on here, we're doing the dual color, and we're going to select Master Make. We're going to let it do its thing for a bit, and then we'll come back and make the master. As you can see now, it's asking us to replace our original image for the print color 1, which is going to be yellow, so we're using the full blacked out image. We're going to lift this up, and this is where we're going to scan it. Lift up this little mat here, and you want to align it with the center of the scanning bed. So lay that back down, and then you can see the lines running along here on the top. They have different sizes on them for various types of paper, or sizes of paper rather, and you can just line that up there. Now we're going to put that back down, and if we hit start, it'll make our master for the yellow color. We're now going to put in the image for the second layer, so we're going to lift that up, take that out, and throw this in the same position and orientation as the first one. Lining it up along the dotted lines like we did with the previous image. We'll shut that and then make the master for the second layer. So once you have both masters made, you can come into the preview and you'll see what it should look like after it's printed. You can get a closer look if you need to, or check out each layer by itself, just depending on what you want to do. So we're going to click continue here, and it's going to actually go through the process of making the masters now. After it finishes making the masters, it's going to print out 2 copies here. The first one does just the first layer, and the second one does both. As you can see, It's not giving a full coverage of ink on the first pass through, so you may want to give it a couple to make sure you're getting full coverage. I just got ink on my thumb. All right, we're gonna go over some settings on the printer now. Here you can see we have density for both drum 1 and drum 2. We're gonna set that to 5 on both. You can play with this as you wish to get different like layer density, but 5 is gonna give you the most like complete fill. Speed, we're gonna leave at 3. It's another setting you can play with if you wanna adjust how fast it's actually going through the machine. And then position, you can adjust for both layers. We're gonna leave it how it is, but that's something if you wanna adjust the alignment on the final image, say move it further off or something along those lines, depending on what you wish. This kind of misalignment you see between the layers is pretty common in Riso printing, and that's actually one of the reasons that a lot of people choose it, because it gives you that more rough and textured style of printing. Now that we have our test prints done and the print settings set, we're gonna go through and print our final image. So here, all you have to do is type in whatever quantity you want. We'll just do 2, for example. You can clear here if you need to, but 2. And then just press start, and I'll get going. And that is how you do a basic print on the Risograph printer. Thanks for watching. I've been Grayson. Have a great day.